Hi! I hope you can hear and see me. I think latency is a bit worse than on Twitch actually, but I really hope that everything works. It would be really nice if you could give me a tiny feedback in the chat just to make sure that everything works and you can see everything and hear. Alex, is audio working? Oh, okay. Now I can hear myself. All right. So I think it works. Latency is actually quite bad. Let me fill you in on what happened between this and last stream, and in general what we are actually doing here right now. This is the neck of my precision bass kit. I bought that years ago for very little money, and it has been sitting in my basement for quite a while. And yeah, finally decided to convert this thing into a nice fretless bass. And the frets have already been removed, and we put some nice veneer in here. Guten Tag! Nice to see you. Very nice. And the other thing we'll be working on today is the headstock. And you can see that this is quite some glue. I had to somewhat make this headstock a little bigger because it was actually too small to hold the type of headstock that you guys wanted to have on this bass. And I quickly have to put the tape here again because this cable is a bit stubborn. And yeah, I think now it's time to open these two clamps and hope that everything holds. Okay. I think it's always a very nice moment of reveal to see if something actually holds. Yes, it does. You can see that the back side of the headstock looks even more, yeah, well, kind of improvised, but I did that meanwhile to make sure that every hole that has been drilled before is closed so we can start fresh. And I have the headstock that you wanted on this bass right here. And in the end, it will look somewhat like that, so you can see, I hope, that we needed a bit of extra space here on the headstock, like up to here. And this is why I just glued two pieces of birch wood right here. And the first thing we are going to do now is take this wonderful Japanese saw. I really enjoy the sound. Anytime I hit the blade with something, I'm happy. So fun. Sorry, I shouldn't get distracted. But what we are going to do now is basically saw off these plugs that are still sticking out, and also this interesting construction right here. I have to make sure quickly that we somehow clamp this so you can still see, but also that I don't saw into my cable for the camera. That would be really bad. So give me one tiny second to align the cable. I think like that it should be all right. And also, of course, if you have any questions, comments, anything the likes, anytime feel free to just write your thoughts in the chat. And I hope that this time I'm not messing up anything. But that's always, I think, the charm, so to say, of something that's been built live, because a lot of things can go wrong, and that's the most entertaining part, I guess. So I will just take a tiny piece of more tape to reassure that this camera cable and then, yeah, you can see this one. This is a bit dangerous. We will see. So I will try to saw in this direction. Wait, I will make sure that you can see. All right, tripod is adjusted, quick autofocus. Okay, should be fine. Yeah, Alex, exploding glue bottles. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so I want to make sure to hold this really flush. I'm not very good at that. Wait, I will try to use a second clamp just to make sure, but my desk doesn't have enough space for that. Okay, so I will basically have to hold everything in place myself and just make sure to not damage anything, ruin anything. You know the trick. Let's try. Okay. Oh, to the left. All right. I'm sorry. I will move here. Yeah, I'm always forgetting that you have a different viewpoint than I have on the camera. I don't have the tiny extra window. Also, I think this is interesting because usually if someone shows you how to reshape a headstock, they only show you how to cut things off. So this is something you have to do if you want to enlarge in the headstock. As for to say, if you had something like an Epiphone, you could use a similar kind of method to get these tiny horns that are missing. Okay, but back to sawing. Come on. You need quite a bit of elbow grease for that one. I hope it's not taking too long for your patience. I'm sorry for that. Okay, first plug is off. That was quite a thing. That's snug. Also, I have to admit that I didn't expect this wood being that hard. I really hope that I won't take too long. But let's continue. Oh, and one more thing, Alex, could you do me a favor and have a look at Twitch if someone's there, and maybe post the link to YouTube so they know? All right. I'm really curious about how this will turn out, if that's somewhat flush. The next steps will be to sand everything evenly, and then we are going to glue some nice strip of veneer on the headstock, which you can see here. I think that's really, really nice. You can select one of these, and also the same procedure is still a task on the other side, but let's tackle one at a time. Okay, that's the next plug. Let's see how everything looks. I think it's not bad. The second one. Let's continue. I'm reluctant to just blow on the sawdust because it will just fly around everywhere in the lens, and trying to not do that. Also, Alex, if you wouldn't mind to open the window just a tiny bit. It's getting quite dusty in here. Usually you should do that outside. I think that's safer. Let me put that here so you know what we're going for. Okay, that's the last plug. Also really nice. That's quite flush. You can see that, of course, there are some saw marks here. But in the end, after we glue the veneer on, they of course won't be visible. And just to check, to show you why we really need this extension of the headstock, you can see part of my drawing. You can see that the headstock was too small. And I can see now that probably the second part wasn't that necessary. But here it's not so super clear if we need it or not. And in the end, it's more work for me to cut, but yeah, it doesn't really matter to have a bit more excess that we can cut off later on. Also, the more or the closer I'm getting to this area, this has some kind of a slope, I have to be more careful. Like here, I think I've already gone a bit too far, so I will try to change the direction of my blade and use it that way. Okay, give it a even more angle. Oh, my arm. I can really feel that I'm doing something for my muscles. Okay, I've been cutting a bit too slopey here. I'm a tiny bit concerned about that area. But anyways, you know what? We are going to cut this off and then maybe reshape and rework it a tiny bit with sandpaper. And if we went too far, I can always go ahead and just glue on 2 strips of veneer. And I think that should work too. But still, wait, let me try to get the saw from here underneath the cut and see if that makes any sense. Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea. So Dennis says to just try to use the blade from the other way for the last tiny bit. And I think that's a really sensible idea, so I will give it a go. The only downside is that I don't really have a good surface area to clamp down the neck. Now wait, let me try right here. I think that's also a nice thing in the streams, that I always get so many tips from you, and these really help. So, okay, let's clamp it down. Okay, I will try this way. I think this is what you meant, right? I'm fearing this cable. Okay. I'm really careful here because of the cable. All right. You could still write it in German. I really don't mind. I'm just translating so anyone can understand. Okay, yeah, that was really a good idea. Worked really nice. Okay, I will first of all show you guys what happened here. Okay, so this is, ooh, that's really flush. I didn't expect it to come out that well. I think that's nice. Okay, this tiny part, yeah, okay. It's not too bad. We cut a tiny bit of the slope here. We could probably just fill it up and be good before gluing on the veneer. And in the end, let's see how this comes out. I think a bit more to this side. Okay, so this is what it would be supposed to look like, but you can see that we have a bit of overlap here because this part is too short. But I didn't bother to put more wood here just because we have this slope and also some kind of carving here that would have been really difficult. So I decided to just move the whole shape forward a bit until it fits here. And we end up with that shape. Okay, that's not too long. It's really snug. I think in the end we will lose a tiny bit here, but I think it's not too dramatic. Yeah, and you can see that there's not too much space, so I'm happy that we glued 2 strips of wood here just to be sure. So what I'm trying to do now is to remove all these excess glue as a first step. I mean, the other thing to do would be to cut off this side, but it's the same process and I don't want to bore you. So let's first try to get rid of all the excess glue, and of course there's still a tiny bit of a bump here. So let's see if we can remove that. So I will take out my chisel box and see what we have. Are the chisels. I will try this one, a bigger one, and see what we can do. For that purpose, I will quickly sharpen the blade. And even this kit that I got was really cheap. It came with this sharpening stone. And I will once again show you the super easy method that my father-in-law told me to use. So just get some water on here. That was too much. Okay, wait. Let me clean that off quickly. Again, of course, for these works you did a really appropriate type of tissue paper. I especially like the cupcake with the cherry on top. I think that's really suiting for our purpose. So let's put some more water on here. Okay, and remove the rest. So Alex, you mean that I should put some cupcakes with cherries on top as a finish on the the end product, so to say? That would be nice. We could do that. Okay, so remove all the dust. So he told me to just simply place the blade here and hold it like that. I will quickly adjust the camera, just need to get rid of all the sawdust. Okay, so quick adjustment. Focusing. Okay, now we're good to go. So he told me to just press the blade of the chisel onto the surface like this and do that. I hope it's not too loud. The sound is really gruesome here as is. He told me that this is the easiest method. You can also already see that some material is coming off right here on the tip. Because if you do it in an angle or something the likes, you really have to know what you're doing and need more experience. And so he said that's a lot more difficult. And of course, there are also some nice machines where you can sharpen chisels and other nice blades, but that's the beginner method. Okay, let's see. I think that's enough. You can see that we have taken off some material here, at least as far as I can see. Then we can remove all the excess. And you can see that, oh wait, I think you can see, oh, my hands are so dirty. You can see that. We have a tiny bit of a brim here from this sanding. And so the next thing to do is take a regular nail file, like this one you get in every drugstore, and just place it on here and gently remove this extra bit. And that's basically all that there is. Okay, so Dennis asks if I prefer playing Strat or Tele. I'm not sure if I'm really allowed to say this, but one of my favorite guitars is a Strat. And it's a Strat that I haven't reviewed until now. So it still has all the tags from the store and also the foil, because I didn't want to remove them before I reviewed it. Yeah, so actually I prefer the Strat. Yes. But what I really don't like is the hum in both the Strat and the Tele. It really drives me crazy, and I come from humbucker guitars, so actually the Tele and the Strat are my first single coil guitars I've ever owned. Oh no, that's not true. I've started with a Strat. My first electric guitar was a Strat. Maybe it's some kind of yeah, nostalgic attachment towards the Strat. But yeah, afterwards I bought an SG, an Epiphone SG. And since then I was always playing humbucker guitars. To be honest, the mostly played guitar by me is a BC Rich Mockingbird. I know that I've never played any of these guitars on the channel. But yeah, I will come back to that, of course. Yeah, but I really like the humbuckers because, yeah, you don't have hum, obviously. And this is something that kind of, I don't know why, but it always surprises me. It's so loud, so much hum, so much, yeah, so much noise. I really like the sound. The playability is not, in both Fender guitars, no matter if the Strat or the Tele, it's not the ideal guitar for my hands. So I'm always in a bit of a struggle, but I really like the sound. Yeah, but I have to do something against the hum, and this is, of course, will be an upcoming subject. So yes, it's the Strat, and yeah, I like Mockingbirds. Okay, now I'm trying to remove the excess glue and also try to get these plugs really flush. I hope you can see them, maybe like this. Okay. What do you prefer, Dennis, by the way? Do you prefer Strat or Tele? Oh, this gets off nicely. I think the sharpening somewhat worked. At first I didn't dare to sharpen these chisels at all because I read so many things about how difficult sharpening tools is. And so I thought, yeah, better leave them as is and not ruin them. But with this really easy method, I'm actually quite happy to have found a way to somewhat sharpen the tools. Something that's really bothering me with the Strat is that it has the middle pickup. I like the sound, but it's always in the way when I'm trying to pick, because as a humbucker player with two humbuckers, usually you have this really huge gap. And at least in the past, I started out with a kind of picking style that involved the pick being really close to the body. So I had a lot of if my fingers are the strings, the pick was quite far in. So yeah, it's sometimes difficult to play a Strat with a middle pickup, so I always try to move more towards the bridge. So I'm between the middle and the bridge pickup, yeah, just to have enough space to play. But it's always a bit weird. So all my other guitars have in common that they are 12-inch radius necks with the Gibson scale. So Fender is a different story. And also when I started out playing guitar, I changed to 8-gauge strings because that's a lot easier on the hands. Especially when you're a female beginner, it's way easier to play bendings and learn how to do that. Yeah, that's why I chose these guitars. But the Strat was always like the classic guitar for me, and I had to get one at some point. Yeah, the hum is definitely super nerve-wracking. Yeah, I was thinking of replacing the pickups for noiseless ones. But what did you do about it, or have you found a solution? Okay. That's really interesting. So as a quick translation, just to for the others, Dennis says that he likes the middle pickup really low because it's the pickup is not so much in the way, and also it introduces some sweeter, more interesting tones in the mixed positions. And I totally can imagine that that's really a nice solution. I would definitely try that out. I haven't touched the setting yet. Also, still the string action is quite high. Oh, this wood is really hard, but I think we're getting there. I just don't want to bore you guys, so I will try and move to the next quickly. Oh, come on. I will have sore muscles tomorrow, I think. Oh, I'm sorry. Didn't want to hit the camera. I think the option that I would really like to go for are the hot noiseless. I think they have a nice, more modern sound. And okay, that's interesting. I think I've cut a tiny dash here. That's why this is not so clean. Let's try here. I think in the end, after some scraping here, I should move on to sanding. I think that's easier to somewhat control what is happening here, because these plugs are so hard. You can also start thinking about what type of color you want for this guitar. I have made some stain samples. Oh, that's too hard. In a past video, I can quickly show you. Wait, I have put here. Quite convenient. So, I have all the stains from Crimson guitars, and at least on the sample, which is poplar wood. They look like this. And I can show you while I'm preparing the sanding block. Wait. Quickly give the tripod a turn. I think, oh, you cannot see everyone. Sorry. Okay, I think it works like this. Okay. Yeah, and the veneer is of course a flame. Yeah, it's a flame maple. It's going to look really nice. But I'm just preparing the sanding block to see what we can do here. And I will be back and read the comments in a second. Just have to get my sandpaper ready. And I'm choosing 240 grit just because I'm out of 120 grit, which I would use as a first step normally. See if that's enough. Oh, it's a bit short. Yeah, we are using both for the headstock and for the body veneer. Yeah, the same type. Zach's coil pickups. Okay. Okay, I will definitely have a look at these. That's really interesting. So, okay, that's a clamp system, sorry. Okay. All right. Just 1 second, I'm distracted by my tools. All right. So, I can show you what I'm doing. Yeah, so basically I have the same veneer for both the body and the headstock. We will do some kind of a book matched veneer like this. I think with the light it's a bit difficult to see, but there are really nice strips in this direction as well. I think a tiny bit you can get the glimpse of it if I hold it like that. Yeah, this will be glued on the top, but I wanted to, yeah, somewhat get this ready and try on a smaller surface before I dare and yeah, try it on the body. And then after the veneer is on both headstock and body, I wanted to do some mock-ups just in Photoshop and make another survey for you guys so you can basically choose what color this thing is going to be. And I'm pretty excited what the outcome will be. And yeah, then I will do my best and try to yeah, use the stains and also some oils. I have some oils from Crimson Guitars as well. I'm really curious on how they work, because I have never yeah, used stain and finish on a guitar before. But let's see, I have my sanding block right here, and I would try to get all this grittiness and all these things off the headstock. Okay, that's a bit, I can turn it like this. Quickly. Yes, I think you can see what's happening here. Always feeling a tiny bit sorry for the camera when I'm doing things like that. that's quite a bit of sawdust. Oh, but that's really nice and flush. That's really nice and flush. I want to get these marks out here. Let's have a quick look at if they hit any of our spots here. And I would just quickly rough trace the edges here. Just on this spot to see how far I will have to go. Also, this is not perfect. So let's keep going for a little while longer. Okay, and this is getting to be really dusty, so I will put on a mask. So, okay, I will sound a bit like Darth Vader now, but every now and then I can, of course, take the mask off to talk to you. Also, my glasses. Oh yeah, my glasses are up there. Full protection here. Wow. Can you still hear me if I'm talking really loud? Ooh, that's getting really nice. Okay, so this is getting nicer and nicer, and what I wanted to say too is that I would like to use some tone rider pickups in this bass. So let me know what you think of that, or if you have a better option. So this kit was really cheap. I basically wanted to use it to learn some different techniques. So if you have another idea for, let's say, sensibly priced pickups for a P bass, absolutely let me know. And I will continue sanding. Oh wow, that's really, really flat. At least these parts and transitions, the whole thing will need, sorry, wait, I will, wait, I will take this off for a second, just so we can talk. Whoop. Why am I constantly hitting the camera? I'm sorry. So this will still need a teeny tiny bit of sanding here in these spots and over here, but these areas are super duper flat now. They really work nicely. So I think once the veneer is on here, at least from the top, of course, if you look at the side, you might see a tiny spot still, but I think here we're really close to achieving a nice, really nice look. And yeah, I think we're close to gluing this thing on. I'm not sure if we will finish off today. So before I'm trying to rush things, I wanted to share something really nice with you, which is the invitation to our brand new Discord server. Because I know that some of you started to build along, and I absolutely wanted to see what you're doing. And so I'm officially launching the Discord server now. Let me just quickly move to my computer so I can put the invitation link in the chat. Give Discord a tiny bit to start. It always does some updates. I don't know why it has to be every time. Okay, now it's here. That's nice. So the invitation link is here. Okay. You can... You can do it. Okay. Could you paste this in the chat really quickly? Thank you. Okay, so Alex will chat the link. No, she will paste the link in the chat. That's the right direction. And yeah, I'd be really happy to see you there. Of course, this will be another announcement on YouTube as well. I think you can still hear a bit that my nose is still a bit suffering. Thank you. That's the invitation link. I hope it works. I'm super looking forward to chatting with you there and seeing all your cool projects. Like, I'd really like to know more about the Zach's Coil pickups and also your favorite guitars and all that. It's really nice. Yeah, but about my nose, I want to tell you that I was sick again last week, and that's why I'm a bit off schedule. I'm really sorry for that. But I would try to continue, or actually really kickstart the modding series of the Affinity Telecaster next week. It will start with fret polishing, and right now I'm working on another video on how to change the nut. Unfortunately, I was too impatient and really whacked the nut quite hard, and so I broke off parts of the fretboard and so on. So the Affinity looks a tiny bit bad at the moment, but on the other hand, I thought, if something like that happens to you, which can obviously happen when you're doing repairs or replacements like that, I will also wanted to show you how to repair all this. And it took a while until this fantastic glue bottle arrived in my place, but when it came here, I was already sick and had fever, so I couldn't really try to tackle the repair, but this is going to be quite soon. And so basically this stream is going to happen every second week, and every other week will be a video, always the same time on Sunday. At least this is what I'm really trying to do now. So, you know, go on Sundays, 3 p.m. UCT it is, I think, on the channel, and you will find something new, either live or, of course, a recorded and cut video. Yeah, that's so much about that. Let me think if there's something else I wanted to tell you. Oh yes, about the procedure with the bass right now. So I will, before the next stream begins, will prepare everything that this is nice and flush, so we can come back together and glue the veneer on. Of course, I will make sure that this is all done and flush and so on. And maybe, it depends a bit, I will also try to cut out the shape of the headstock, because this involves a saw that's powered, and I don't know, I don't want to be kind of distracted. Also, I prefer to do that outside, not indoors. so the dust has somewhere to go. Also, the next thing is to sand all these glue spots off the fretboard. And what I have for this is this nice kit, which is a sanding block with a radius for this guitar, or this bass, of course, 9.4 inches. And additionally to that, I have different types of self-adhering strips of sandpaper in different grains. So we will start, of course, with the really thick stuff and move on to the thinners. And that actually should do the trick. Something you can already think about is if we want to put some kind of stain on the back of the neck, of course, on the one hand, and yeah, what kind of look you would like on the bass. And as we only have still 5 minutes to go, I will quickly show you what the body looks like. So this looks, that's all. I think the bigger camera is the better option here. So that's the body. I've already made sure that these holes that weren't too well aligned are closed. Also, the neck pocket has been aligned, so the neck sits really flush and tight in there. I can't show you now because there are still glue residues on the neck. But this is the body, and I think once the veneer will go on here, it will look really nice. Yeah, of course you can see just the veneer right now. Maybe like this. The rest of the body, the sides and the back will be stained black. And this is something I was thinking about the neck too. Maybe we should make both the back side of the neck and also the back of the headstock black too. But if you want more color here, of course, you will have the choice. And yeah, I'm very curious about what you decide in the end. Yeah, also we will do, of course, some nice electronics. So if you have any ideas for pickups for this one, because the ones that came stock aren't that good, maybe we will try to replace the magnets, something like that, and see if we can upgrade the existing pickups and how they sound. And for things like that in the electronics department, I'm already thinking about building some kind of tiny extra device that enables us to measure what the pickup and the whole electronic circuit does together. There's a really nice book from Helmut Lemme. I don't know if you've heard of him, but if you haven't, he's the one that has written this book. It's a German book. There's an English version out there as well. Maybe Dennis, you have heard of it. Helmut Lemme, he's really into this. He has studied physics and he really knows his stuff. And this is one of the first books that ever came out, at least in the German language, that has really tons of information about how electric circuits on guitars work. So this is really a nice book. I really can recommend it. And also Manfred Zollner, he's very I think 3 books he has written, and I think there should be English versions available. It's called Physics of the Electric Guitar, and in German, he's German too. Die Physik der Elektrogitarre. I think that's must read it's a bit more complicated than Helmut's book, but I think both are really, really interesting. Yeah, okay. No, this is absolutely unfinished. I don't think that they put any type of sealer or anything the likes on that. So oil and wax. Okay, yeah, okay. So Dennis says that it feels really, really nice and looks good. Yeah, maybe we try that. We will see. What I was thinking about was to use these oils from Crimson. I wanted to rewatch which one to use when, of course. Also the same oil for the fretboard to use, because on a fretless bass you will have some wear on the fretboard. I'm prepared for refinishing it and maybe taking care of some dents that will happen over time. Yeah, but I'm really curious about this project, and I'm super happy that you were with me today to, yeah, get a bit closer to the goal, to finishing this build. I will show it again. I think that is quite a nice accomplishment. And yeah, I will have to dash now, but I would be super happy to continue talking to you on the Discord server, and I will see you next week. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of Sunday. Bye.